school year 2018-19. I am Valerie Royalty Quant. I am the principal of Greene, and we're practicing saying that, so I'm going to say it many, many times. And I really enjoy it. I'm the principal of Greene. And we're going to have a lot of information for you. Several parents already came up to me and said, if we attended the information session last year, we had several of them, is this the same information? It is.
Except for that it now says Greene.
Right, except for it's Greene. But all of the basic information, scheduling the structure, 6th grade, what to expect, all those things are the same. So if you have heard this presentation before, please don't feel obligated to attend this one because the information will repeat. Students have the opportunity, if they haven't before, or if they just want a second tour, to join up with some of our leadership students who are giving campus tours today. And they will come over, actually, to this room, the multipurpose room, and any student who wants to take a tour with them around the campus today can go ahead and do that. There will be an opportunity for parents after this presentation. If you'd like to take a tour, we will divide and walk around the campus if you haven't already. So I would really like to welcome you to this school year. This is an exciting time, it's a high energy time, a lot is going on, and you will get a lot of information in this presentation. A lot of people, a lot of basics, procedures, things like that. We also have information from the PTA, information from PI, information regarding athletics. So there's a lot here. We will be, however, putting this up online. So if there are things that you need to refer to or preferences that you need to check, resources, don't worry about not finding the information again, because we'll make it publicly available. It is my pleasure to also introduce to you some of my team. I have James Luby with me. He is our 8th grade assistant principal. And Magdalena Victoria, she is our 7th grade assistant principal. There is Midi Kwan, who is our 6th grade assistant principal. You'll see her in the rotation. And there we go. Jamie, we're talking for you. You should come time for 6th grade. And we also have another member of our counseling staff here, Susan Kern. So Susan is here. So we will make ourselves available at the end of this presentation for any questions you might have or trying to find the right people to talk to about your students.
So students,
Students who would like to take a campus tour,
why don't you head out for students?
all right. So the students are going to be led around by our leadership students. They will have their own experience and we will have ours. So this is our team, our administrative team, me and the 3 grade level assistant principals. If you need anything from us, come into the office, email, phone call, and we can help you or get you to the right place for any kind of support. High tech, hit the button. For how many of you are you in middle school for the first time with your students? Wow, this is great. How are you doing? Good? Tomorrow's going to be a great day. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about today is the differences between elementary and middle school, because there are a lot of differences from that kind of an environment where kids are in the classroom most of the day with one teacher with a little bit of rotation to where the rotation is the expected schedule. And when we get into secondary, middle school, and high school, we have subject area instructional leaders. We want you to know who they are. So the instructional leaders are all listed here. This is also on our website. And here's why it's important to know who the instructional leaders are. If you have a question about curriculum, about a novel that's being read, about the textbook, we actually have a textbook adoption coming up this year in science. If you have any of those high-level questions, these are exactly the right people to check in with. Things about process, okay? So knowing these people is essential. And again, this will be listed on the website, so you'll be able to contact them. So this is the PAUSD mission statement. And the mission statement, of course, as you know, hopefully know, is the direction that we're all going together and how we're working to get there. So what we really want for our students here is really high-level problem-solving skills, curiosity, creativity, resilience, and empowerment. And especially when we talk about secondary students and their journey through and into adolescence as they move toward high school, it's a lot about learning to be resilient and learning how to work hard and learning how to fail forward and learning how to learn from the mistakes that they make. And this is middle school. There's going to be a lot of that, which is very exciting. And we all have to have a high amount of patience and our own resilience to help support them through that process. And we do, or else we wouldn't be in middle school. Okay. We actually have 3 focus goals district-wide. So these are the umbrella goals from our district. And then every school in Palo Alto focuses their efforts on these 3 goals. They are equity and access, wellness and safety, and high quality teaching and learning. So however that manifests in the schools that you're coming from may look a little different here when you get to Greene, but these are in general the very, very important focal points of our schools here. These are our site goals. So from those umbrella district goals, what they look like here in Greene is this. We want teachers to participate in professional learning communities, which means that they join together often, weekly, if not more, to work on what's working instructionally, to build assessments, to work on grading practices, things like that. And that teachers are going to give your students learning targets. It's hard to know where you're going if you don't know what the target learning is. So your students may start talking about learning targets because they know what they're working toward in their learning environment. You will get course guides from every teacher, so that's a lot of good information. We are going to monitor students for grades, attendance, overall mental health, because we are interested in the whole child experience, not just their academics, but how they're doing in school, especially in middle school. One of the benefits of our structure and support through PI, actually, is that we have plentiful counseling here. We have mental health counseling, we have guidance counseling, we have crisis counseling if we need to have crisis counseling. And so we have a lot of resources for students to access so that their journey through their middle school years is well supported. And we are working on wellness and safety, not only physical safety and plans for that, but behavior and learning how to interact with big groups of other people who may differ from you may not get along with or know. So that's a big part of the work that we're doing, especially in middle school. All right, with the handoff.
Good afternoon, everyone. So our middle school philosophy, we have a school within a school type of model where students are in teams. In 6th grade, they are teamed by their core teachers, also known as their math science teacher, which is one person, and our language arts social studies teacher, which is another person. So you'll see a lot of times your 6th grader may say, oh, I'm part of the Esmail Makatangai team, because those are the 2 teachers that create that team. And this is to create that smaller community. In 6th grade, the smaller teams have approximately 50 students or so, where these are students that are shared by both teachers. So we have meetings weekly where the counselor and the administrator at that grade level meet to discuss any issues or any things that may come up with these students. In 7th and 8th grade, we also have teams. These are teamed by their core subjects. Their math teacher, language arts, social studies, and science teacher create a team of teachers. And these teachers share, I would say, approximately 130 to 150, somewhere in there, approximately that number of students amongst those teachers. And at the bottom there, we have the different team names. So sometimes your student may say, hey, we're having a tangerine activity. That's because they are going to a team activity with those teachers on that team. Our middle school transition. We started transition early, I would say in January of the year before. 5th grade year is when we have our first parent meeting where we meet with the parents to bring them in as far as getting some information and starting to prepare their students for middle school. We also did a tour back in May for many of our 6th graders coming to the site so they could see the campus. And we also went out to the schools, the elementary sites, to introduce ourselves and just let them know a little bit about middle school. So once they arrive, which starts tomorrow, everyone's biting their nails, tomorrow we're going to be starting the Jaguar Journey. And the Jaguar Journey is, I liken it to a boot camp almost of sorts, where students learn about life at Greene, being a Jaguar, what does it mean, and the different things that we have on campus. So up here we have a couple of the different stations they're going to be participating in. And they participate in half the stations on Tuesday and the other half of the stations on Wednesday. So some students may be receiving their locker tomorrow if they have locker Olympics. They'll be getting their lock, they're going to learn how to use a combination lock, get their locker assignment, go out to the locker and find out where it is and how to use it. Another station is the scavenger hunt. That's a favorite, where students will be walking around campus, kind of a campus tour, but with a purpose because they have to find certain things along the way, and it allows them to meet many of the key staff members on campus so they know where to go. For example, let's say they lost their lock. Where did they go to find out what to do if they've lost their lock? So they're going to meet Miss Jang, who's in charge of the lockers. They'll find out where to go if they've hurt themselves or if they need to make a phone call, where the attendance office is, etc. So through the first 2 days of school, a note was, I believe, sent out sometime today to remind parents of 6th graders that they don't need to bring anything except their lunch, really. They're going to be supplied everything for the first 2 days of school so that they can go through the Jaguar Journey and learn about life at Greene. Additionally, part of the transition is students will now have counselors here for their grade level counselors, so they'll meet their grade level counselor in one of the stations. And additional services, we also have Cassie that's available in the middle school. It was also available at the elementary site as well. And then some other things that are new to this grade level or this age level is team time, which are kind of like the teacher's office hours. If you picked up a schedule, you'll notice at the bottom of the bell schedule, there's something called team at the bottom. And that is time for students to check in. If they had questions that they didn't get answered during class, or if they were absent and they need to come in and do their makeup work, or if they just simply wanted to check in with the teacher and wanted to check a score, let's say, that was reported on their Schoology, they can go in and check in at team time. Additionally, we have JAWS, the Jaguar Academic and Wellness Support Center. So during the week, on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays following team time, the same days, we have a homework center that's available in our library. I believe it will be starting later in September. Because at the beginning, there's not as much homework. So later in September, we'll be starting up the JAWS Center where students can come in and just sit down and have a quiet place to do homework. We'll have resources there. Their textbooks will be there. We have computers available, teachers available. So they can come in and do work from 3:15 until 4:30. Additionally, for academics, in 6th grade, the students will be experiencing what we call the exploratory wheel, or explorative wheel, in which they experience 7 of our elective choices, and students get to experience them in chunks of 5.5 weeks or so. So they'll get 5.5 weeks of industrial tech. They'll get 5.5 weeks of our family and consumer sciences, or also known as home ec. They'll get to sew, they'll get to cook. They'll also get a chance to work with computers for 5.5 weeks and work on different programs. Art is another part of the wheel. So they'll get to a lot of exposure to all the different offerings they'll have in 7th and 8th grade. Grades can be checked on Infinite Campus. Many of you as parents have access to that. How many of you did your annual data update? Awesome, great job. Annual data update was through IC, Infinite Campus. So that is the same platform where you'll be checking grades. So grade notifications when they come out will be in Infinite Campus. And it's approximately 9.5 weeks or so every quarter. And then about halfway, 4 to 5 weeks, is our progress report. Now, please don't be worried if you don't get a progress report, okay? Progress reports are issued for students who have a C- or below, or C and below, is when a teacher will send out a progress report. So if you don't get any, take that as good news, okay? But if you are curious, you're like, I didn't get anything, can I still check? Of course. You know, feel free to check with the teacher and say, hey, I didn't get a progress report, should I be worried? So you can contact the teacher or the team at that point. And warning notices, again, are sent out at C and below. Homework policy. Our general homework policy here is 10 minutes for each grade level. So 6th grade, 60 minutes approximately per day. 7th grade, 70 minutes, and 8th grade, 80 minutes of homework approximately. And that's an average throughout the week too. They may have projects that they're working on, and it's like, Mom, I don't have any homework, and then bam, all of a sudden they're like up for a couple hours. It's because they kind of put off that project. So check in on the students. Schoology is a great place to look for assignments. If your child's absent, or you know ahead of time they're going to be out for an appointment, they're going to miss a class, this is a great place to check for assignments. Teachers will load up their assignment calendar on Schoology, as well as use the grading platform on Schoology, so you can also check assignment grades. Final grades are reported on the Infinite Campus, which is our system to send home the scores.
Hi, so I'm Magdalena Pretoria, and actually this is my 23rd year at Palo Alto, my 2nd at this campus, although I was a parent of students who went through this school. Most of my years have been in elementary, so it was a big shock last year to grow up and get a different flavor of what life in a middle school campus is like. And one of the biggest differences is the size, obviously. So most of our elementary schools here are between 400 and 600 students, even in the larger schools. And here we have 1,100 students, which can seem daunting, right? And one of the things is, again, another difference is that in elementary, self-contained classrooms allow students for those very guided, structured, relationship building activities. And so one of the ways, aside from having these teams that make the school feel smaller, are lots of different activities that provide students with opportunities to mix and experiment with different things that they might not have tried before. So lunchtime, our leadership and student council will organize special events at lunchtime. We'll have about 1 dance per quarter or semester. There are clubs, which I'll show you in a minute, that get organized by students. Teachers sponsor those, and so there's always going to be an adult there, but you'll see the range of interests that our students experience in that. There is an intramural program that is conducted by one of our PE teachers, so that's another option. We have a science fair. I think last year we were kind of on a hiatus, but I understand we're going to revamp that, so you'll be hearing about science fair opportunities, after-school math club, and then you'll learn towards the end, you'll hear a little bit more specifics about the after-school athletics, which is run or co-sponsored with the city of Palo Alto, and Patrick will talk about that in a little while. Again, so there's this range of different ways that students can experience life at Greene beyond obviously just their courses. And even their electives, right? Because their electives are also opportunities in the wheel for 6th grade, but for others. So this is a list from last spring semester, just to give you an idea of the number of clubs that get generated and sponsored on campus. Anything from Monday bookworms to Wednesday boba club, movie club, Star Wars club, one of my favorites is the Youth Community Service Club, the Jordan Origami Club, so quite a variety of things. And students, you know, if they're not sure that their interest or their friend's interest is going to get met, they can approach teachers and say, hey, would you be interested in sponsoring? And so that goes through our student council. But again, it's another way of helping our youth navigate and build relationships and find that life at Greene can be not just about courses, but about other ways to keep their interest.
Right. So one of the things that we have developed with the help of parents and the PTA over the last couple of years is some real important communication protocols. This is also a difference, frankly, between elementary and middle school. When students start taking responsibility for their own communication with their teacher, and the expectation of that increases. And there's a great way to do that, and there's support to do that. And we wanted to show that both to students and to parents. And here's part of it. Schoology is a great mechanism for reaching teachers. And students will have the ability to email their teachers. Parents will have the ability to do that. Infinite Campus is used by me or by administration for generalized messages, school-wide messages. So you may get that kind of information from me. We do get a high number of emails, so if we could have an understanding of about, you know, between 24 and 48 hours for response time, that would help. If it is an emergency of some sort, please feel free to call. That's always the most direct route. So our first line of communication expectation is going to be student to teacher and teacher to student. If you feel like something is going on that is not being solved with that level of communication, then it's absolutely appropriate for a parent to reach out to a teacher. I often will get a phone call. We get phone calls. Counselors get phone calls. Sometimes from parents, and we'll say, well, did you talk to the teacher? And if the answer is no, then I'm going to say, I need you to go back and have that conversation with the teacher, because that is the direct level of relationship and communication. So if it's something that rises above the teacher, sometimes you're going to want to interact with the department leader, the list that we showed you at the very beginning. And then sometimes it might come to me or to an assistant principal. We have certain departments that we work with. For example, I work with special education, I work with science, and on our website are where the rest of administration works. So if there's some oversight that's needed, feel free to reach out to us. These templates, where's Jade? Is she still here? Jade and the PTA help develop 2 years now that help with some communication norms and expectations between parents and teachers. Things that you need to maybe check with your student before you come in with the teacher and talk about maybe missing work or expectations that were not met. Just a checklist. But this serves as a really good communication template. And we have these on the new website as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is James Livy, and I'm starting my 22nd year in education. I've worked as far north as San Francisco, far south as Santa Clara Nevada. I've worked elementary, middle school, and high school. I spent 7 years at Dunn, and this is my 4th year here at Jordan. I also have Greene. Yeah, $5. That's going to be hard for me to break. many opportunities to say green in my presentation, though. I also have two daughters who are in the district. One is at Gunn. She's a sophomore, and the other one's at Juan Briones. She's going into 4th grade. For those of you with 6th graders, just think in 4 more years, your student will probably get their driver's license. In 6 more years, they'll be graduating from high school.
Thanks, James. Way to lower the anxiety level. Yeah.
It goes by fast. Enjoy every moment of it. Before I start on our new website here at Greene Middle School, a couple things about this school that are really important to me. The 4 years that I spent here, I really noticed that the staff really cares about students and they really connect with students. And that's something that's really important to me too as well. And I think our whole admin team, that we really try to get out there and meet students and talk to them, really get to know them. And you can really do that at middle school. Students they may not want to talk to you as much, but they're willing to talk to us probably even more. The other thing about being here is your students really grow. When they come in 6th grade, and by the time they leave in 8th grade, they're a much different person. Okay, so along with the name change, we also have a new website. So it's Greene, GREENE.PAUSD.org. And you can go there and you can click on the different links. Sort of just go there and play around with it. It's a new face to the website, so it looks a little bit different than our old website. And this is just an example, the school link there. You can see the different links that you can get to. Some of them aren't working yet, as again, the website is new, and so some of the links aren't yet active. So we're in the process of updating those. One I do want to point out is the Greene Handbook, 1819. I think we called it the Jordan Handbook before, so same thing you can find in there. It's a good resource for you and your student to look at. Behavior expectations, dress code, discipline, attendance, along with many other things that you can find in the handbook. I do suggest that you look through the handbook. So again, that's greene.phusd.org. Thank you.
All right. Cell phones and cyber safety. This is one of those things that when kids get into middle school and high school, we become exceptionally aware of, more so. There are a variety of ways for your students to become distracted at school. And I think we feel like when people come back to school in the fall, we have to do a little bit of a retraining with students. And so, of course, every school has a cell phone policy. And I want to tell you what ours is. Our cell phone policy is that cell phones are off and away during the day. Kids do not need them during the day for anything. Remember when we were in school and if our parents had an emergency, we used to call the office? We still have that expectation. So the progressive rule, and I want to call it progressive because the first time I see a cell phone now, I'm going to say, school rule is you need to put it away, so go take it back to your locker and turn it off and get it after school. But if this is a continuing thing, it is progressive. We do have confiscation rights at a certain point, and if it's an ongoing pattern, you may be asked to come pick it up for your student. And we all know at this point that there are a lot of distractions and a lot of dangerous behaviors that happen online. And so part of our learning with students that's going to take place this year in advisory is around digital citizenship and how to interact appropriately and what those relationships and what your screen presence is and all those things that we want our students to have if they don't already as they move into adulthood. Control their technology so it doesn't control them.
So I don't know if everyone had a chance to pick up a schedule. We did have bell schedules available at the back table. If you didn't, on your way out, maybe you can pick one up. We also have these available on the website, but I just wanted to bring to light because a lot of the questions that we're getting right now and we're fielding up in the front office is when do we have to be at school and what does it look like for my child on the first day? Because we know everyone is nervous, including the parents. So just a quick sampling, this is our schedule for tomorrow. Students are expected to be at school by 8:05 because the tardy bell rings at 8:10. So I'm sure many of you want to come a little early, get the feel of the land, and take some photos. Yes, I still take photos of my children on the first day of school. My daughter is going to be a 7th grader here, which gives me a lot of reason to say, hey, stand right there. I just want to get the background, but could you stand there too so I can get a picture? So they're not going to want to take a picture, I know that. But you can give it a try. But at 8:10, our tardy bell does ring, and at that time, students are expected to be in their advisory class. You may have received your green cards in the mail, and it has the advisory teacher on it with the classroom number. Do not worry, if you did not get one, we will post a listing of student names and their advisory classes and classrooms in 3 locations tomorrow morning. They will be in the front of the office, at our Middlefield entrance, right by that parking loop in Middlefield, and we'll have one in New Center Court as well. So in 3 different locations, if they forgot their card or on the way, they're like, wait, I can't remember, where was I supposed to go, A or B? You can look it up. So we will have it on campus, so you do not have to flood the front office, because then you'd have to wait a long time in line. So there are going to be at different locations. You can find where to go. We are going to be running an altered bell schedule tomorrow, where the students will go to all 7 classes tomorrow, which is not usual. We don't usually go to all 7 classes, and advisory. So they're going to meet with their advisory at the beginning of the day, where they will get their schedules. That is where they get their schedules. It will not come in the mail. Okay, students will receive it first thing tomorrow morning. 7th and 8th graders will also get their locker assignment. So if you have a 7th or 8th grader that is returning, they need to bring their locks. If not, you will be issued a new lock. Okay, and then students will get their assignment to go to the locker, and then they can check out their locker. And then day 2 is also a different schedule. Day 2, for 7th and 8th graders, we are going to our regular schedule, which is why you have the white copy of the bell schedule. On Wednesday, for 7th and 8th graders, regular bell schedule. They start with 6th period, and 7th and 3rd and 4th, and back to advisory. 6th graders, if you have a 6th grader here, you'll be doing Jaguar Journey. So on day 1, you did stations 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 2nd day, you'll do 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay?
All right, I kind of already touched on this, but I wanted to personally identify the counselors that your students are going to be working with. And our counselors here rotate with their grade level cohort. The benefit of this is they get 3 years to learn your student and your family and all of their needs and their journey, academic, social, everything that comes with middle school, which I think is a really great model. So 6th grade is going to be Megan Ben, 7th grade Kelly Rakowski, and 8th grade is Kylie Payne. So weekly, they have a check-in meeting to see who might need a little bit of emotional support, who's struggling in academics. That's the HST meeting. They attend all the teacher team meetings to get that information as well. And they really are the connecting point between home and school. The other piece of that is that we have extended mental health and social emotional counseling here at Greene, which we are so excited about. Our students need this level of interaction. Sometimes it's conflict management with peers. Sometimes it's something happened in the family that is upsetting to them. And these people, Susan Curry is one of them here, have the opportunity to meet with them for a longer amount of time, or once, if that's all they need, and at whatever level they need for what's ever going on with them. They also have community resources if they need to, and can refer out or up or over depending on what's going on with your student.
All right, so another transition towards the greater independence that secondary students, middle school students are experiencing is, what about parents? They don't want to see you here, perhaps, in many cases. They want to just be, independent from you. But that doesn't doesn't mean that we don't have opportunities for you to continue to be involved, continue to support the school, and in fact, their classroom in very many cases. So I'll address PI and PTA in a moment. New Angels is still up there. This site, or this school, when my kids were here, and they're in their mid to late 20s now, so that was a while back. But I know that New Angels existed then. We phased it out a little bit, but this is an opportunity where we can always use extra hands of people helping supervise the campus. And so New Angels were simply parent volunteers who sign in at the office, get a nice flashy green neon vest, just so they're identifiable as an adult that can be summoned for some assistance, as well as monitoring, make sure that everything is safe and students are being respectful of their campus environment. And so that, while we don't have an over-reliance on that anymore, if that is something that you can do and you can provide, please do see us in the front office. Occasionally, throughout the year, you'll hear about principal copies. That'll be an opportunity perhaps to be with Val, other site team members, it could be us, it could be the counselors, depending on different topics that people want to discuss. Please come and join us for those. Parent visitations. We do offer some opportunities for you to experience a day in the life of, as you know, to visit different classrooms, and those dates are on the calendar on the website, so you can do that if you want. You'll get a little bit of experience on Back to School Night, which is August 29th. That is a real empathy building exercise because you have to navigate from one classroom to the other following your child's schedule. A little bit easier if you're a 6th grade parent, but still a little daunting because we do have a large campus. Classroom volunteers, again, from time to time, you'll be hearing about different needs that come up for the classrooms. I know that I am in charge of organizing a program for all of our 7th graders, which we call Challenge Day. It's a social and emotional learning program that is team building, and we definitely need parent volunteers. So in the PTA news, you'll see different opportunities for volunteering on campus, such as that. And then of course, largely you'll hear about this in 6th grade, but still in some of the other grades, field trips. And again, chaperones, drivers are needed. As you will see in the handbook, similarly to elementary, if you are able to support a field trip, you will need to fill out the paperwork in terms of your insurance in the front office. But again, there's different ways. And then of course, Partners in Education and PTA are ways that we hope each of you is involved. And we like to distinguish them simply as the staff versus stuff. I mean, PTA is obviously a national, well-established, well-run organization. At Greene, our PTA supports our programs with funding to support different materials for our arts and enrichment, for our facilities, for technology, different education programs, a homework center. You could see the list there. Special activities that we run for our students that are like the Challenge Day that I just mentioned, our youth community service, as well as other teaching supplies and funds that teachers could access for enrichment. Partners in Education is the foundation that supports all the district students and is equitably distributed. And here you're going to hear about this in a moment, actually. I won't steal thunder, but these are ways that Greene site is supported through the Partners in Education, and I believe actually our next speaker, right, is going to give you details about these areas. So I will pass them.
Hello everyone. My name is Kamal Ardashna. I am a parent of an incoming 8th grader here at Greene, and I'm also a parent of a graduate of Greene and Palo, who is off to college in 2.5 weeks. So I've been a parent here for a very long time. I'm also privileged to be serving as the president of the PI board this year. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Partners in Education. As the team alluded to, PTA is a nationally known organization. Partners in Education is an education foundation solely raising money for the Palo Alto School District, We are an independent organization, but we only raise money for our district. We are here because, quite simply, there is a need. I want to show you a video that will talk to you a little bit about why PI was founded and what we do. If you're new to Palo Alto, I think it's really helpful to get a context of why we have PTA and PI. And even if you've been around for a long time, you may not realize what we do at each level, elementary, middle, and high. We serve every level, every school, all 18 schools in the district, and our funds help us have more staff at every single school. And those staff interact with every single child in this district. So I want to show you this very quick video and then talk to you about
Alto,
Greene.
a vibrant, dynamic place to live, with one of the best school districts in the country compared to the top performing schools in New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Illinois. But why do those schools get so much more money per student than we do in Palo Alto? Because in 1978, California voters passed Proposition 13, a state measure that changed the way our schools get funding, capping property taxes. Now, even in a strong housing market, there isn't enough revenue to support our schools with public funds alone. After the passage of Prop 13, California schools went from one of the best in the nation to the worst, slashing art, music, and electives. Class sizes soared. That's why concerned Palo Alto parents created Partners in Education, or PI. Donations to PI from families like you provide crucial funding for important school programs. Because of PI, every elementary classroom has a classroom aide to support students and teachers. Because of PI, students in elementary and middle schools get art and music instruction. Because of PI, high school students are guided by college and career counselors. We fund core programs in STEM, with electives in middle and high school like engineering, marine biology, and industrial tech. We also fund junior museum and zoo science classes in our elementary schools. In the arts, with music, band, choir, and orchestra in every elementary and middle school. In wellness and support, with a guidance staff at our middle and high schools. Each year, PI donations pay for more than 85,000 hours of support and enrichment, delivered by over 250 staff members, funded in whole or in part by PI. The great education you want for your kids isn't possible without PI. And PI is only possible with your support. Donate today.
Okay, so that's a little bit of an overview about PI, and now I want to talk to you more specifically about PI at Greene. And one of the things that I'd like to do is show you this chart. The PI revenue number looks relatively small, but you'll notice it's larger than the money we get from the federal government. You'll also see it's larger than other local revenue sources outside of property tax. But it is a really important number for a very important reason. That money is a little bit more flexible than the other money that's given to the school. It is not necessarily earmarked the way other government funding is for specific programs and specific purposes. We have some leeway. We give principals kind of 3 areas that we would like to fund. And within that, the principals have a lot of leeway as to how to use the PI money for the best support at each local school. Okay. At Greene, this year, we will be able to use almost $500,000, $497,000 was donated to Greene by PI. And I'm going to go into what we do with that money at Greene, but I want to put it into the context of some of the things that struck me about what the administration said. Middle school is not just academics. Academics is incredibly important, but for a lot of the parents that I see here that have high schoolers and beyond, I think you'll agree there's so much more to middle school. And if you look at what PI is funding, that's where we're trying to help. It's about getting confidence in yourself, resilience, all of those things. That's where a lot of our money is going. Electives. We can offer a range of electives that's amazing. When I grew up, it was shop and home ec. I don't know if that's true of a lot of other parents here. Ask friends around the country if they have the range of electives that we're able to offer at middle school. Not in high school, but at middle school. This helps your kids learn about what they like and what they don't. The electives are actually a really important part of their education here. Student guidance, we have talked a little bit about the counselors, and counselors are not great at marketing themselves, so I'm going to do a little bit of that for them. What you don't hear about is you hear about counselors talking to individual students, and sometimes parents say to me, but my student doesn't need to see a counselor. One of the things that the administration alluded to is the counselors go to all of the teacher-team meetings. That helps the teachers in the classroom. Counselors are mentoring them. If there's an issue in the classroom, if there's something that needs to be resolved, they are giving that guidance to the teachers so the teachers can resolve things in the classroom and get back to teaching. And that does impact every single child at this school. So please remember that. Again, we are here to support the whole child, so thank you for your time, and just remember, we would appreciate any donation of any amount to support all of our kids. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amanda Style. I'll be your PTA president this year. So I have an 8th grader in the school and one sophomore in Palo. Today's the first day of school, so she's pretty excited. And I have 2 kids in Watergate. And I think right now is the back to school package pickup, so I guess I'm late. So this year when we do our website, so this is the link, we try to put everything on this website. So you can see our web store, you can do donations, you can sign up for the membership, and you can get cartoon dance. How many of you are familiar with cartoon dance? It was really cool. I mean, the teacher was been working with the school for like 10, 20 years. She would line up boys and girls dance, and they look like a ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty fun. You should sign up and come see it. And you can download all the form in the back to school package. How many of you received the Greene Middle School e-news? Anyone? So if you haven't, please go to our website and sign up, please. And we use up to us for the volunteer work. So like Job Well Journey, I think some of you already signed up for Job Well Journey. And next week we're gonna have back to school social. We need help. So there's a back to school social next week. It will be on August 22nd, 5:30 to 7:30. It's a community building event. It's free. So please, parents, grandparents, or students, come join us.
Hi, my name is Wendy Carroll, and I have 2 girls here, one in 8th grade and one coming in 6th grade. So I've been at Greene Middle School will be my 3rd year. And we had a Just Parties committee that I helped to lead last year with some co-leaders named Susan Shio and Julia Ray. And we're doing it again this year. And last year we raised about $30,000 for the school. And we hope to raise more this year. And the purpose of Just Parties is not just to raise money, but to build community here. I read a recent study that said that parents of middle schoolers have the most maternal and paternal depression because they get lonely. So this is a good way for us to stave that off by socializing with each other. And it's also a great way to kind of put your ear to the railway, as they say, to kind of, if your kids don't talk to you about what's going on at school, you might hear about some things from other parents. So it's kind of a great way to integrate yourself into the school environment. So I have 2 requests. We generally do what we call a kickoff party, and that will be on October 11th in the evening. We'll have free appetizers, there's drinks, we'll have a DJ, and it's kind of a really fun party just to kind of kick off our events. And what happens at that party is kind of like an auction. It's not really an auction, it's more like you just sign up for other parties that are going on throughout the year. And my second request is we need party hosts. So You don't have to have a big party. You can host a small one. We've had all sorts of parties being thrown. We've had dad's poker nights. We've had pot sticker parties. So big or small, you can get together with friends and host. So if you're interested, please come see me, or there's these purple volunteer packets, or in your packet, you can sign up that way. You might also have some party recruiters who will be calling you from your alumni school to say, hey, remember me, let's try to do a party together. So please participate. It's really a fun event, and it's also a fun series of parties that are thrown at Greene. So any questions about that? No? All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. I knew this was going to be a lot of information. So, Vicki. All right.
Hello, my name is Vicki Huang. I am one of the science fair chair for this year. I'm a long-term Palo parent. I've been in PhD. This is my 14th year here. And our Greene STEM fair, we call it STEM fair, is a little bit different because in addition to the traditional science fair activity, you can actually do a lot of different activities. So the fair I will introduce some of the dates in the next slide, but here everyone, as long as they are a student at Greene Middle School, can attend. And then the topics, it doesn't matter. And in addition to the traditional science research projects, you can also do some interesting topic, and you can write about it, you can draw about it, or even you can do some demonstration about the engineering concepts or the design thinking to present. So this is not a competition. This is just an extracurriculum for everyone who's interested in science. So, and then this is some of the kids, if you are interested, you can actually participate in the regional competition, but it's totally optional. And you will get feedbacks, not grades. So everybody are welcome to attend. So possible topics, you can think about anything related to science, engineering, STEM, math. So these are some of the suggested categories, but you don't have to fit in any of them. You can do anything you want. So all of this information will be available on the PTA website, so you don't need to copy down everything right here. And also, we have the table in the corner over there. If you have some more questions, Julie will be there to answer the questions. Okay, so all the dates will be available over there on the table. I also want to talk about a few other clubs after school clubs related to the science and engineering, which we have a math club, and we also have a science Olympiad club, and also a programming club. And the science Olympiad club has some representatives over there, so if you're interested after the event, you can go and ask some questions. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Because we usually get so many questions about athletics, we wanted to invite Patrick to come and share information that we'll be used to.
Alright guys, we are in the home stretch. My name is Patrick Brody, and I am the athletic director here at Greene Middle School. Just one thing I want to make clear. The program is not run through the school, it's not run through the district, it's run through the city. It's a middle school, athletics are run through the city, so if there's an issue, you can yell at them, but it's going to come to me anyway. Okay. My email is at the bottom of the slide, patrick.rody@cityofpaloalto.org. The big thing that I'd like you to take away from this slide, and all of this information is on the school website under the athletics tab, are registration dates. And I know I'm going to answer this question after, I just want to say it anyway. For the fall sports, when we do girls volleyball, flag football, and cross country, take a look at the date, August 21st at 8:30 a.m. Now when I say 8:30 a.m., that's not 8:30 and 1 second, that's 8:30 on the dot. Our programs fill up. I hear it every year. My daughter's on the wait list. Okay, we're gonna try to get them on the team, don't worry. So as you can see, fall, I just went through those sports. The winter sports go from November until February, sorry, end of March, so up until spring break. We separated, so 6th grade parents, there's a break for you guys.